In the past, we've done many scenarios, among which are what if Naruto were reborn with all of his memories and powers? That story focused a lot on changing the future and optimizing the outcome, but instead I'd like to try something new. I would like to make a story where Naruto simply starts out with all of his powers but none of his memories, to see where Naruto will go, what Naruto will do, and how things might turn out if Naruto's gifts were all given to him from the very beginning. I would really like to know, but am I the only one? Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The blackness of nothingness existed all about. It was everywhere. It was nowhere. And floating in the middle, like a spectral wraith, was a single figure. This figure had known pain, had known suffering. Ambition led to destruction, and a haughty spirit to a fall. Oh, such a fall. How far had he fallen into it? It felt like he'd fallen forever, into different directions, like a stained glass window shattering apart. How much of himself was still himself? It was impossible to know. Who he was then and who he was now were hardly distinguishable by anything other than his assertion of will, his firmness of purpose, resoluteness, some other word for it. Vestiges of what he had once been remained. Pieces of a person, only curiosity and a need to know, a need to meddle and play. What was it that he now experienced? Freedom, the ability to do anything he wanted. And now his PhDs in as many fields as he ever studied had left him craving more. More knowledge. Knowledge was power. Knowledge was freedom. He was not broken. He was omnipresent. And when he was everywhere, he could hear anything, learn anything, change anything. Perhaps his destruction wasn't an end, but a beginning. Perhaps he was beyond even the concept of death at this point. Immortal, living on in the background, the very coding of the omniverse, the imagination of the mind. And now, everything was his grand experiment. He was now so absorbed in his work that he and his work were inseparable. They were one and the same. Now, it was time to begin again. A new experiment. This hooded figure, this cloaked being moved among the darkness of time and space, where he'd been destroyed and remade. It was time for a new experiment. Moving from outer darkness to inner space, he found himself in a landscape like unto the ones he'd witnessed on his television screen, the things his assistant had at one time been so obsessed with. His intellectual mind had at that time rejected the possibility that such a thing could be true. But indeed, as the light of intelligence widened, so too did the circumference of the darkness of ignorance. He simply did not know how much he did not know, and now he was aware. Now it was time to never again not know. Information existed in this world, and it could not exist first without an author. And if the author left information to exist, then the author left it to be consumed, to be processed. Some might call him mad, but in his own eyes, this was what any true scholar was. To fanatically seek truth and knowledge was to understand the existence of all things. This cloaked figure would shine light across all darkness of ignorance, ensuring not a single corner could be hidden. If he was currently omnipresent due to existing as a broken being across all time and space, then he too would become omniscient. And now, as he stood in the shadows, nobody knew it. Nobody saw him. Nobody could sense him. He was but a ghost to them. He made his way to the apartment of our protagonist, the hero of this world's story. Entering the apartment without a door, he wandered among the shadows like a demon, his dark form coming to rest just over Naruto, who at this time was only around 5 years old. As it was but an inch away, the posture of the hand softened. It gently, lovingly pushed away a couple strands of hair that were falling into the child's face. In a moment, Naruto's eyes began to twitch as they opened. Despite this man being a stranger, Naruto didn't panic. He just sat there, looking at him as if he were some old friend. There was no hostility here. Naruto simply couldn't understand what this being was, but he was sure of one thing. He wasn't going to harm him. The being spoke. "Naruto, sweet child. You do not know your true value or your importance to this world. Destiny's waves wash against the shores of time, and the gifted among us can read it. But others cast aside such potential with fear, for they do not understand the genius of your existence. You have great potential and strength, power scattered along the timeline. Allow me but one kindness to you. I shall gather it all up and bring it to you. What you do with it will be your decision to make. I hope you find happiness in it." And as these last words were spoken, Naruto returned to sleep. The next morning, Naruto awakened. Convinced that what he had witnessed was a strange yet comforting dream, he went about his morning routine, getting something to eat and preparing his new clothes. Despite being only 5, he was high-functioning. He had to be if he wanted to survive. It was then, as he prepared to brush his teeth, that he witnessed it in the mirror. There was a little black orb floating around him. Naruto reached out and poked it. "Hello," he said as he looked at it. "Are you new around here?" The black orb just floated there. "Can you not speak?" More silence pervaded as the little floating orb continued to hover. Naruto, of course, was unaware that this was not actually a living creature. Maybe a part of him sensed the true nature of what it was, possessing all 5 nature transformations plus yin and yang, formed through senjutsu. So there was life energy within this orb, and due to Naruto not yet understanding that he possesses the ability to utilize senjutsu, could sense the life all around him. So the natural misconception was that this orb was actually alive, as it had the energy of life in it. The difference being that there was no consciousness in it. In other words, it would be like talking to a plant. But for something as confusing as this, he just assumed it was mute. "I'm gonna call you Jeff." And so Naruto and Jeff played all day until Hiruzen showed up. Imagine what Hiruzen might have thought upon seeing Naruto running around with a little black orb he couldn't identify. Was it possible that Hiruzen would have already known what it was? He was the professor after all, and that meant he had access to all manner of known jutsu, forbidden or otherwise. Whether he knew what it was or not, would he naturally assume Naruto created it? Chances are Hiruzen would run up to Naruto, grab the boy, and swat away the orb, trying to protect Naruto from it, thinking it could be a malicious jutsu someone cast on him. That would be until Naruto would push out of Hiruzen's arms. "Stop being mean to Jeff!" he shouted. Hiruzen was confused. "Jeff?" Naruto nodded. "Yeah, Jeff!" Naruto walked to the truth-seeking orb and took it into his hands. "Jeff is my new friend. I met him this morning when I was brushing my teeth. Since then, he hasn't left my side." Hiruzen would try once again to pull Naruto away from it. "Naruto, be careful! We don't actually know what the heck that thing is. It could be dangerous." Naruto pushed away from Hiruzen. "Stop!" Hiruzen would normally be proud of Naruto for trying to set healthy boundaries between himself and others, but now was not the time, as he didn't seem to understand what it was and was trusting that it wouldn't hurt him. "If Jeff wanted to hurt me, he would have done it already," Naruto said, explaining his logic behind trusting the orb. "All Jeff has done is hang out with me. He's my friend." "I don't know what that is, Naruto," Hiruzen said. "Maybe it's not inherently evil, but that doesn't mean it's not dangerous." He pulled Naruto away a third time, this time holding him tight. He quickly utilized Fuinjutsu to place a barrier around it. Naruto began to fight against Hiruzen again, certain that Hiruzen was wrong to treat his new friend that way. Hiruzen continued to hold on tightly though. He needed to know what this thing was and what to do about it. And so he delivered Naruto and the orb to be studied by jutsu masters, who might be able to identify this unknown ninjutsu. Naruto was not happy with the way they were treating his truth-seeker orb. At one point in time, he tried to fight them when they attempted to take a syringe and gather some mass from inside of it, but Hiruzen, done with this, would cast Naruto under genjutsu. From there, they were able to further study the orb. They determined that its composition was a physical manifestation of all nature transformations, all 5 of the basic ones, as well as yin and yang release. The implications of such a technique were incredible. This meant that the little orb was capable of any and all ninjutsu, including Kekkei Genkai. Since all Kekkei Genkai nature transformations were a mixture of basic nature transformations, given that this thing included them all and mixed them easily, insinuated that it was able to do anything. Furthermore, with the ability to mix yin and yang together, it meant that this technique could make anything possible. It could blur the line between genjutsu and reality. Despite Naruto's insistence, they didn't detect any form of intelligence from the orb. But who could have cast the technique then? Well, the longer they studied it, the more they were able to pinpoint the orb's chakra signature as being identical to that of Naruto, meaning somehow Naruto created this thing. But how? Was this a technique sealed into him? From there, they began to scour his body, searching for any sign of a seal. That's when they discovered a small white-colored circle on his right hand. "What's this?" Hiruzen asked. The other experts began to gather around it, looking it over. "Is it possible that this is the seal generating the technique?" one of them asked. Another spoke. "Even if it were so, the technique used would still draw on the chakra of the person who sealed it, wouldn't it? Most sealing techniques require chakra, and the ability to command someone else's body to make a technique was hard, if not impossible, without somehow applying one's own chakra to the seal." Hiruzen began to question who could have done this to Naruto. That's when a new perspective was shared. "What if nobody did this to Naruto?" Hiruzen looked over. If that were true, and this really were a technique of Naruto's own creation, then he would know what it is, and where it came from, but he doesn't. That's when the expert continued. "Unless this were an involuntary awakening of a Kekkei Genkai, it's possible Naruto possesses some hidden bloodline limit without knowing it, and that it was awakened generating this technique and the seal on his hand." "I doubt it. I knew both his parents. Neither of them possessed any Kekkei Genkai like this." "That's true, but we can't look at it so shallow. It's very possible that Kushina and Minato both had genes that weren't displayed and were passed down from their ancestors. This could simply be that the mixing of their genes awakened something old and rare, or perhaps some mutation has given birth to something new. It's the only explanation. There's no jutsu as complex as what we're looking for, and assuming anyone could do this at all is nearly as preposterous as assuming Naruto did it by himself." Hiruzen couldn't argue with that logic. To be frank, perhaps this was his own paranoia, considering how Orochimaru had been experimenting on people, on kids. He couldn't help but worry that this was some sort of evil plot by Orochimaru, and he still couldn't rule it out. But what was important was the question. What do we do about it? "Probably nothing," they said. Hiruzen was a little confused. "Nothing?" Hiruzen asked. "If Naruto created this thing, then destroying it or sealing it would do no good. He'd just make another. We'd be back to square one." "What if it's dangerous?" Hiruzen asked. "It actually very well could be dangerous," one of the experts said. "In fact, I would say that it's definitely dangerous. But given that this is a natural ability, there's not much we could do to stop him. Considering that Naruto seems to have some attachment to this orb, I highly doubt he would do anything to it that would cause significant damage. If this thing were to explode, it would be quite dangerous, but I don't think it will. Naruto would need to will for that to happen, and I don't think he'd do that." "Is there anything we can do to stop him from making more involuntarily?" Hiruzen asked. Suddenly, another voice spoke as a set of people entered the room. "Considering the world we live in, and the techniques we're already teaching our children, you want to stifle his growth." Hiruzen looked back to see Hamada Mitokado and Koharu Utatane walking in. "With all due respect, Councilwoman, this technique seems to be very dangerous." "Everything about Naruto is dangerous," Hamada said. "I don't see this as any different." Hiruzen was baffled. "I know what he is, and why it's necessary, but he has a seal on it that keeps it from escaping." "But that doesn't mean that he can't still access its power. At this young of an age, he could easily siphon its power if he knew how. Then we'd be back at where we're at now. I say we simply tell Naruto to treat this orb with respect and care in the hopes that he doesn't detonate it. That's the best we can do." Hamada walked over to Naruto and began to examine his hand. "You know, there was a rumor about this," he said. "I'm sure you remember, Hiruzen. We were all just children at that time." Hiruzen drew closer. "I remember many things. You'll have to be more specific." Hamada continued. "They said that before the first Hokage passed away, he awakened something very special. They say that his Sage Mode and his Wood Release were all facets of a very special condition. They believed that he was the reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths, and that the reason why he could lead the village, no, the whole world into peace was because he possessed the power of the first shinobi. It's very possible that Naruto here may be in Hashirama Senju's footsteps. He could be the next Sage of Six Paths. Not much is known about that power except that all ninjutsu is derivative of the origin powers of the Sage. The Sage possessed access to all nature transformations and Kekkei Genkai. Naruto may be manifesting the same powers. If this is so, then we should treat him with the utmost care and respect, because he could be destined to be the decider on whether Konoha prospers or ceases to be." Hiruzen thought on these things closely as he looked upon Naruto. Maybe it was true. Maybe Naruto would be the fulcrum that weighed the balance of the fate of Konoha. Or maybe he wouldn't. But whatever the case, they just had to trust that everything would be alright. And so he allowed Naruto to keep his Truth Seeker orb, and decided to simply keep an eye on him. Naruto was happy to find that Hiruzen was going to let him keep Jeff. He promised to feed him and care for him and make sure that he was always happy. Naruto would attempt to feed Jeff, only for the food to drop to the floor.
"You gotta eat something, Jeff. How do you plan to live if you don't eat?"
He tried getting Jeff to drink water. Despite that, Jeff never did eat or drink, and it never seemed to grow sick. Jeff followed Naruto everywhere and even stayed close by when Naruto went to sleep. Everything was normal for quite some time, but it began to get around that Naruto might be the next Sage of Six Paths. People began to talk about him and considered the evidence. They all noticed the orb floating around him and the mark on his hand, believing each were signs that Naruto had access to this power. Some believed he was the Sage of Six Paths. Others believed he just had the powers associated with the Sage of Six Paths. Regardless, they believed it to be his destiny to serve the same purpose as the Sage. And because of that, public perception of Naruto began to change. People began being kinder to Naruto, treating him with respect. Due to these things, Naruto found himself getting more opportunities when he joined the academy. This included special teachers. Eventually, Hiruzen would just move Naruto into the Hokage's residence, where he would treat him the same as he did his own grandson. The reason why Hiruzen did this was because he was afraid that since Naruto's special abilities had gotten out, some rival nation might attempt to capture him. Considering that the reason why Hiruzen had set Naruto off by himself was to prevent people from finding him, he now realized that Naruto was going to be sought after regardless, and the best chance that he had to protect Naruto was to keep Naruto close by. And so he would move Naruto into his residence. Naruto would get the best of teachers in Ebisu, a Tokubetsu Jonin whose priority was teaching. Naruto would find that with Ebisu's special tutoring, he'd be able to breeze through the academy, struggling very little. During his time there, he found himself becoming quite popular. All the dudes in class wanted to be like him, wanted to know what it was like being a Sage of Six Paths, and trying to use him to solve their issues, squabbles, and debates. At first, Naruto was a bit hostile to the idea, not liking the added attention and not knowing how to settle these debates. But when all of the girls in class, including his childhood crush Sakura, began to throw themselves at Naruto romantically, he couldn't help but begin to enjoy the limelight a little. As Ebisu trained Naruto, he would note how quickly Naruto could pick up what he was being taught, stating that it was almost like Naruto already knew these things and was simply remembering them. Naruto's skill would increase further as he aged, and by the time he was 12, he would graduate from the academy. Hiruzen, sentimentality not being lost upon him, would form a team for Naruto. He gave Naruto Kakashi Hatake to be his mentor, knowing that Kakashi was the student of Minato, and that his wisdom could guide Naruto and protect the village should anything ever happen that Naruto released the Nine Tails by accident. Secondarily, he put Sasuke on the team as well due to Kakashi's possession of the Sharingan, believing that since Kakashi was keeping the spirit of the Uchiha alive within him, that maybe Sasuke might view Kakashi with high regard, treating Kakashi like a father, brother, or uncle to him. Thirdly, he added Sakura Haruno to the team, believing that her great natural intelligence and skill would set the team down the path to becoming the most legendary of them all. A new team of Sannin. Kakashi would walk into the class to see Sakura hugging all over Naruto, seemingly begging for his attention, something Naruto would gladly give her with a blush on his face. Kakashi feared for the effectiveness of his team if Naruto and Sakura couldn't control themselves. For quite some time, Naruto and the rest of his team handled small jobs, until eventually Naruto convinced Hiruzen to let them go on a mission to deliver Tazuna back to the Land of Waves. For the most part, this arc remains the same. This includes Naruto's freezing and Sasuke having to save the day, Naruto's vow, something that sets Sakura's heart aflutter as she loves the idea of a dedicated man, and even the fight with Zabuza to a point. But where things begin to change is after this, when they're hanging out with Tazuna's family. During this time, Kakashi requires rest, but refuses to let his students sit on their rears and do nothing. You know what they say, idle hands do the devil's work. And so he sent them out to train their chakra control by teaching them how to walk up vertical surfaces. Of course, despite how hard it would be, he'd master this about as fast as Sakura would, as if he had already known how to do it from the very beginning. This would leave Sakura and Naruto to return to Tazuna's house, leaving a frustrated Sasuke to train all by himself. That's right, in this universe, Naruto never meets Haku. That means that on the day that Haku and Zabuza attack the bridge, Naruto does not sleep in. He gets to go there immediately with his team. That also means that there's nobody to stop Gato's thugs from kidnapping Inari and Tsunami. As the fighting begins, Naruto would be locked into the demonic mirroring ice crystals with Sasuke. The two of them would attempt to defend themselves, but Naruto and Sasuke are way too slow to keep up with Haku, and in the moment, just as an attack is coming straight at Naruto, Sasuke takes it and seemingly dies. Naruto holds Sasuke's body in his arms and feels his emotions overtake him, but a change occurs here. Instead of awakening the initial Jinchuriki cloak that Naruto commonly would, he instead skips all of that and heads straight to Six-Path Sage mode, and I'll explain why. You see, due to Naruto possessing all of his adult powers and potential in one body, this means that all of the transformations he would have access to are already his. He just doesn't know how to use them. But through emotion, his subconscious automatically chooses a form for him, and this should also include Kurama's full power. Now, you may ask, how would Naruto possess all of Kurama's power without Kurama trusting him? There are two answers, and I'll allow you to make the decision as to which is right. The first option is that Naruto has so much ki control that he can take everything he needs from Kurama with or without Kurama's consent. The second option is that because Naruto's chakra is almost exactly like the Sage of Six Paths at this point, Kurama can't help but trust Naruto the same way he did the Sage. After all, maybe Kurama believes Naruto is the Sage reincarnated too. There's also the distinct possibility that both of the previous options are true at the same time. Whatever answer you choose, it wouldn't be incorrect. Entering Six-Path Sage mode, Naruto stands there with his toad eyes crossed with fox eyes. At that time, more truth-seeking orbs appear around him. He looks back at them, questioning if Jeff just used Shadow Clone Jutsu, but disregards it. Right now, his heart demands justice for Sasuke. Haku begins to throw more Senbon, targeting Naruto specifically, but Naruto dodges them as if he were in Ultra Instinct. In Six-Path Sage mode, Naruto is so fast that he can basically predict where Haku's attacks will be, and even react to where he'll go next. With that in mind, Naruto would fling his chakra-filled kunai at the next upcoming mirror, shattering it before Haku gets there, causing Haku to shoot past his target at the speed of light, flying off until he's out of range. The technique breaks for the time being until Haku makes his way back. During this time, Naruto kneels down by Sasuke and looks at him. He can sense life faintly in him with his Sage mode. He knows he can be saved, so he removes all the Senbon and utilizes his Six Paths power to heal him. Sasuke gasps back to life and looks up at Naruto with shock. "How are you doing this?" Sasuke asks. Naruto shakes his head. "I don't know. I just know how to do it. The power is speaking to me in my subconscious." Sasuke couldn't lie. This made sense to him. It might not make sense to anyone else, but it made sense to him. Sasuke knew that some techniques, like Kekkei, while requiring practice to refine, oftentimes could be used as if they were a mere extension of your own body. Nobody had to tell you what they did, you just knew. That was how the Sharingan worked, and that's how his father explained the techniques of the Mangekyou Sharingan, and it seemed that this strange transformation Naruto had undertaken was working in the same way. Sasuke tried to stand. Naruto helped him. "Be careful, you could still be woozy." Sasuke nodded. "I'm fine." It was at about this time that Haku returned to the bridge. Naruto saw him and told Sasuke to stay back. Sasuke would agree and step to the side. Naruto would once more engage in combat with Haku, but due to his overwhelming speed and strength, he quickly subdued him. At around this time, Zabuza was killed, much to the anguish of Haku. But not much long after, Gato and his men arrive on the bridge. But this time, they have Inari and Tsunami as hostages. Kakashi tries to bargain with Gato. "You have 2 civilians that we want, and we have a shinobi you want. How about we exchange? Your shinobi for our civilians?" Gato would laugh.
"If you think that trap of a boy means anything to me, you're sorely mistaken. He had a job to accomplish and he failed. He's of no more use to me. What I want instead is for the cessation of this bridge's construction. The only way to guarantee that is to cut off the head of the operation by killing the master builder and destroying his plans."
"We can't allow that," Kakashi said.
"It's okay. I'll do it," Tazuna said.
"You don't have to," Kakashi said. Tazuna smiled.
"But I do. For too long I've sat back and watched as others paid the price for standing up to Gato. I was too weak and slow to save Kaiza, but I won't let the rest of my family suffer because of me. This is my duty as a father and a grandfather."
Kakashi couldn't argue. He instead decided to honor Tazuna's wishes. However, as the elderly man began to make his way across, Inari cried out for his grandfather to stop. Tazuna refused to do so. Taking matters into his own hands, Inari would bite the hand holding him back before stabbing the other in the leg with a pilfered kunai. Tsunami was able to get away from them as Kakashi rushed into battle. However, he wasn't quick enough to stop one of the thugs from putting their sword through Inari's back. Naruto saw this and rushed to the battle alongside Kakashi. During that time, Haku would escape. Naruto and Kakashi would drive back the thugs, defeating Gato and his men. Naruto would see Tsunami crying over her dying son. "I can't do this again. I can't lose someone else to that monster," she said. Naruto saw the pain in her eyes and knew that she already lost enough. Walking over to Inari, he knelt down and placed a hand upon his wound. Closing his eyes, he focused his chakra, and a moment later, the wound was healed. Inari would seem to gasp his way back to life, much to the relief of Tsunami. Due to these things, the bridge would be given the name Bridge of the Sage of Six Paths, in honor of Naruto, who they viewed as such. Naruto's sudden growth shocked many people in Konoha. His awakening had confirmed to everyone that he was indeed the next Sage of Six Paths. As they returned to Konoha, the things that Sasuke had seen astounded him, and he began to wonder what Naruto was capable of. And so, one day, Sasuke would take Naruto to the side. "I was wondering if you could do something for me." "What is it?" Naruto asked. "Follow me." Sasuke would lead Naruto to the Uchiha clan section of the cemetery. Naruto would look around in confusion. "Why did you bring me here?" he asked. Sasuke looked back at him. "I saw what you did on the bridge in the Land of Waves. You can do anything you want with that power. I was wondering if you would..." "If I would what?" Sasuke took a deep breath and spoke. "I was wondering if you would bring my clan back to life." Naruto was stunned to hear the request. "Sasuke, I don't think I can do that. You can do so many things. Why not this?" "I just can't," Naruto said. Sasuke's brows lowered. "Can't or won't?" "I wish I could, Sasuke. I really do. But the kind of thing you're asking is too much." "Why?" "Because I know the limitations of my powers. I don't even know if I can revive the dead. But even if the Six Paths power allowed me to, the cost would be so much." "What cost?" "Equivalent exchange. There can't be a price put on human life for all the potential they had. The only thing I own of about equivalent value is my own life. And even then, I can't be certain that my life has enough value to revive all of them. I might only be able to awaken one or two before I die. And that being said, I can't be certain that they would come back in any way that I would call alive. There are some things we shouldn't mess with, and among them is life and death." Sasuke sighed and turned around to leave. Naruto would follow him. "Leave me alone," Sasuke would say. "Sasuke, talk to me. What's the problem?" "I'm tired of being alone." Naruto ran to catch up with him. "I am too. So why don't we just be alone together?" "Leave me alone." Sasuke rushed off. Naruto contemplated letting Sasuke cool off by himself, but he could sense that something was deeply bothering him, and it continued to bother Sasuke. It didn't stop. It had always been around and would always be around until Naruto could figure out how to solve it, if it could even be solved. He would go to Sasuke's apartment, but find that he wasn't there. Naruto would think for a moment and then close his eyes before activating Sage Mode. With it, he was able to detect Sasuke's energy signature. Sasuke was indeed at home, but not this one. Naruto would travel to Sasuke's old home in the Uchiha clan compound. Old and dusty, having seen very little use, the house was in a bad state. Naruto came in after a knock. Sasuke was less hostile now, just sitting there on his bed, looking out the window. Naruto sat down beside Sasuke, Jeff just floating there beside him. "Sasuke," Naruto said, "what's wrong?" Sasuke took a deep breath and let it out as a sigh. "I'm scared, Naruto." "About what?" "About my brother, about my own potential and growth. I don't know what might happen." Sasuke began to speak more. "My brother was a powerful shinobi. Strong, kind, but one day he just flipped out. He became something I didn't recognize. Or maybe I did, but just didn't want to believe it. He was so strong." Sasuke seemed to be scared as he spoke, though he seemed to regain some composure. "He single-handedly killed every Uchiha by himself, claiming that none could ever compare to him. My own brother destroyed my clan, killed our parents. He said he only let me live because I was the only one who he thought might be able to compete with him. He said that he left me alive so I might grow stronger for a final showdown. He demanded that I awaken the Mangekyou Sharingan, but I don't think I can." "What do you mean?" Naruto asked. "Awakening the Mangekyou Sharingan requires doing a hard thing, but it's my only hope at beating my older brother." "I'm sure whatever it is, you can do it." Sasuke nodded. "Maybe you're right. There's only one way to find out." Suddenly, Sasuke stood, pulled a kunai and swung it, hoping to slash Naruto's throat. Naruto rolled back. Before he could finish his sentence, Sasuke was on him again in an instant. Sasuke knew that given how strong Naruto was, if he wanted to kill him, he needed to do so before Naruto had the chance to achieve his six-path sage mode. Naruto tried to push back, but with every strike, Sasuke was an inch away from a vital location. Naruto couldn't get a chance to breathe, let alone take on his six-path sage mode. Sasuke would put a hole through the wall. Naruto would move away. "Sasuke, you don't have to do this!" Sasuke, standing there with fear in his eyes, his face pale as death, tears streaming down his cheeks, spoke. "Don't you see? I have no choice. If I want to survive, I have to kill you. I don't want to, but I have to. It's the only way to awaken my Mangekyo Sharingan." Sasuke rushed at Naruto again. Naruto, in his fear, held out his hands. As if heeding his call, Jeff transformed into a bow staff and went to Naruto's hands. Naruto, using this new weapon, deflected Sasuke's blows. Sasuke would trip on Naruto's foot and fall through the window, landing on the ground outside. Naruto would look out the window, down at Sasuke, who tried to rise up from the ground only to cry out in agony before rolling over. Naruto ran out the door and made his way to Sasuke. He had many broken bones. Naruto could tell just by looking at him. Furthermore, the broken glass had shredded Sasuke. There was so much blood. "You're gonna be okay," Naruto said. "Please just let me die," Sasuke said. "I don't want to live anymore. It's too hard. I can't do it." Naruto began to pick the shards of glass from Sasuke's body, much to Sasuke's discomfort. Naruto would then place his hands on Sasuke and send a pulse of chakra through him to force his body to heal. Despite the pain having ended, Sasuke did not stop crying. Naruto raised him up and pulled him into an embrace. For a time, he just sat there in the streets, letting Sasuke lean against him and cry. "Sasuke, you're okay." "I'm not. I can't awaken my Mangekyo. I'm just not strong enough to kill the people I love." "You shouldn't have to." "I do though. There's no other way." "Who told you that?" Naruto asked. "The Uchiha Stone Tablet. It holds the history of my clan as well as their secrets." "Show me," Naruto demanded. "There's no point. You wouldn't be able to read it. I can't even read the whole thing." "Show me." Sasuke led Naruto to the Naka Shrine and helped him enter. Inside, they found the Uchiha Stone Monument. It was left to us by our ancestors, written by the very sage himself. "Nobody can read the whole thing," Sasuke said. Naruto stood there silently. He drew closer to the rock and placed his hands upon its surface. His fingers traced the lettering. "It was a waste of our time to come here," Sasuke said. "I can read this," Naruto said. Sasuke was shocked. "Wait, you're joking, right?" Naruto shook his head. "It says right here, seeking stability, one god was divided into yin and yang. These opposing two acting together obtain all things in creation." Sasuke was astounded. "You can read it?" Naruto nodded. "I can read it all." "What does it say?" Sasuke asked. Naruto then spoke. "Right here it says that to achieve the Mangekyo Sharingan, you have to suffer loss." Sasuke looked down. "See, I told you, I have to kill someone." "It never said that," Naruto said. "It never said that about the Mangekyo Sharingan. Furthermore, there's talk on other higher stages of the Sharingan past Mangekyo." Sasuke was shocked. "Wait, really?" Naruto nodded. "There's talk about an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is a Mangekyo Sharingan that's been exchanged with someone of close blood relation. It's said that if you possess a Mangekyo Sharingan and exchange it with someone of close blood relation, like an immediate family member, that it will awaken into the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It will never again lose its light." Sasuke was stunned. That must be why Itachi spared me. Why he wanted me to gain the Mangekyo Sharingan. He wants to take my eyes." Naruto continued reading. "There's actually a higher form than even the Mangekyo, and it doesn't seem to require the Mangekyo to be awakened." "What is it?" Sasuke asked. "It's called the Rinnegan. It says that the only one who possesses the power of the Sage of Six Paths may awaken that." "Too bad I don't have that power," Sasuke said. "You might not, but I do. I could just give you some of my chakra and awaken your Sharingan into a Rinnegan." Sasuke was startled by the concept. "Can you do that? Really?" Naruto nodded. "Shouldn't be hard. All I have to do is transfer some of my Six Paths power to you for a moment. You should awaken a Rinnegan then." Naruto stood and walked over. "Would you like me to do that?" Sasuke stood there in shock. Even after I tried to kill you, you'd do this for me?" Naruto nodded. "You're a close friend of mine, Sasuke. Before you and Sakura, all I had was Jeff here," he said, pointing to the floating orb. "But you showed up and became my friend. Now I've got a family. You think I'm just gonna throw you away?" Sasuke was silent and then began to cry. "I don't deserve it." Naruto would put his hands on Sasuke's shoulder. "Then it's a good thing that I decide who deserves my love and not you." He began to fill Sasuke with Six Paths power. Sasuke felt the senjutsu running through his body, and a moment later, his Sharingan activated, his left eye transforming into a Rinnegan. Once Naruto had finished, he took back his Six Paths power, allowing Sasuke's Rinnegan to generate Six Paths power in Sasuke. Sasuke raised his hand to his eye and touched it, unable to believe all of the power that he could feel. The Rinnegan began to speak to Sasuke, telling him what it could do, surprising him. "Is this the power of the Rinnegan?" he asked. This could defeat Itachi. I don't have to be afraid anymore." Naruto hugged him. "See? There's an answer. You just gotta find it." After this, the Chunin exams would come to Konoha, and considering Naruto's growth as well as Sasuke's, and the pure skills that Sakura seemed to display, Kakashi was convinced to allow his team to take the exams. He told them that if they wished to join, they should all go and sign up. And so, as they were leaving to go and sign in to take the exams, they'd be stopped by Rock Lee, who sought to have a battle. However, instead of desiring a fight with the last Uchiha, he instead sought a fight with the Sage of Six Paths. To that end, as they began to fight, Rock Lee proved himself to be a worthy opponent. But as Lee's speed began to increase through the use of his gates, Naruto would immediately switch into Six Paths Sage mode, where he would utterly outclass him. With Lee conceding to Naruto, but vowing that one day he would surpass him, Naruto and the others were free to leave and sign up for the exams. Once they waited until the Chunin exams were to officially start. On the day they did, the team met up for the first test, which was a written test. I assure you, this is the most difficult thing Naruto will face in these exams. Despite the fact that his powers won't exactly give him any edge here that he didn't have before, they also won't stop his gutsiness, so in the end, Naruto would still pass the test, because he's Naruto. After this comes the second test in the Forest of Death. Due to Naruto possessing Sage Mode, Naruto is able to sense everyone in the forest the moment they enter. So, finding the proper person to take a scroll from wouldn't be much of an issue. While Naruto can't exactly sense who has the scroll they're looking for, he can sense the people themselves, which means he simply jumps from group to group until they find the proper scroll. But during this time, there is a high chance that Orochimaru would attack the group. Despite knowing Naruto's true powers, Orochimaru deeply desires Sasuke. Not just because Sasuke possesses the Sharingan, but even more now that he possesses a Rinnegan. There's no way Orochimaru would pass this chance up. But if you think he has even a breath of a chance, you'd be right. Might isn't the only thing in Naruto, and even compared to the upper echelon of characters from the War arc, Orochimaru was still very relevant. Not to mention that even if Naruto possesses Six Paths Sage Mode, which might be stronger than anything Orochimaru has, that doesn't mean Orochimaru doesn't have wisdom. He knows how battles work better than Naruto does, and sometimes it takes a lot more than just being stronger than someone to defeat them. Orochimaru is a textbook case of this. And so, as the battle continues, he might be able to brand Sasuke with the Curse Mark of Heaven, like originally, but he still doesn't get the chance to kidnap Sasuke, as Sasuke's Rinnegan possesses techniques that Orochimaru couldn't even begin to understand. And so, from here, Sasuke has to rest because of the Curse Mark. However, since Naruto isn't hurt, he has the ability to help Sakura stand up against Team Dosu, and despite the fact that Orochimaru could stand up against Naruto and Sasuke, this doesn't mean that everyone can. They get totally destroyed by Naruto. Sasuke wakes up in a manic state, but with the help of Sakura and Naruto, he quickly regains his senses. The three then make their way to the building in the center of the forest. Having passed the second part of the exams, they are then able to take the third part, which is exhibition matches. Now, some things change and others do not. Considering that Sakura has absolutely nothing changing her, she and Ino knock each other out. Sorry about that, Sakura, but there's no logical reason for your outcome to change. But you know who does have a logical reason for a change in outcome? Sasuke. Now, since Sasuke had been bitten by Orochimaru, he's not able to use any jutsu without his curse mark taking over. And if his curse mark takes over, he would be unable to continue. But even though he has the Rinnegan, he'd still lose to Yoroi. After all, utilizing the Rinnegan and all the jutsu related to it still requires chakra, and that would activate the curse mark as well. I know a lot of you may be calling bull over this because in the original series, Sasuke won without ninjutsu, only using taijutsu he copied from Lee during their fight. But the issue with this train of thought is that in this universe, Sasuke never fought against Lee. Naruto did. And because Naruto was so much faster, Sasuke never really got to experience or gain inspiration from Lee's style, meaning he's pretty much helpless at this point. So Sasuke, despite it feeling like a cheat, is defeated and fails to move on to the next round. Naruto, however, begins to smoke through all the matches presented to him. But as for the matches not involving Sasuke and Naruto, they all go mostly the same, which means that Lee's arm and leg get totaled by Gaara, leaving Lee's career possibly over. After all of this, a month-long vacation is awarded to all within the Chunin exams for final preparatory training, and during this time, Naruto meets Jiraiya. But the most sad part about this is that Naruto has almost nothing that he can learn from Jiraiya, as he already has Sage Mode and control over his tailed beast. However, despite this, there are a few things that Jiraiya can teach Sasuke instead. And so, Sasuke, feeling the need to further increase his strength in hopes of catching up to Naruto one day, subjects himself to Jiraiya's training, where Sasuke learns both the Rasengan and how to summon toads. This brings Jiraiya back the more he looks at Sasuke, and as Sasuke masters Jiraiya's techniques, he speaks to him.
You know, Sasuke, you remind me a lot of another student I once had.
Oh, really? Jiraiya smiles.
You do. You remind me a lot of a boy named Nagato. Like you, he possessed the Rinnegan, though instead of it only being in one eye, he had it in both. Honestly, it's quite surprising. You'd think I've got the most luck out of anyone in the world. Most people don't even see one Rinnegan user, let alone two. And then I followed that up by also meeting Naruto, who actually has all the powers of the Sage, save the Rinnegan. Though I wouldn't put it past him to develop one at some point in time.
Sasuke spoke. Maybe there's a meaning behind it. Jiraiya would smile.
I'd like to think so. An old prophecy exists that says that a child will one day bring peace to the whole world, and that my path would intertwine with theirs at some point. I had thought Nagato, but he sadly died not long ago. Then I met you, and also Naruto.
Jiraiya chuckled.
If the world doesn't end up at peace sometime before I die, I'd be very surprised. So many good kids with so much power and potential. I think if you and Naruto were to team up, you could take the whole world down on your own. If you have the determination, I'd suggest you use it to bring peace.
Sasuke agreed to work with Naruto as closely as possible, and with that, the month off came to an end. Naruto was to fight Gaara. He could already sense that there was something different about him.
What do you think, Jeff?
Naruto asked. The little black orb just hovered silently. Naruto nodded.
Yeah, feels like he has a tailed beast too. We best be cautious.
With that, the match began. Naruto was fast and strong, even more so than Lee. Due to this, Naruto was able to outspeed Gaara and his sand. It was hard for him to believe that anyone could just break past it. But not only did Naruto break past the sand like Lee, he also managed to break through the sand shell covering Gaara's body, something Lee could not do. Managing to draw blood from Gaara, Gaara began to panic. He had never experienced the sensation of pain before.
Calm down, guy, Naruto said. It's not that big of a deal. I'll even fix it after the match, okay?
But Gaara was having none of it. It was at about this time that a genjutsu fell across the whole stadium. The only ones not taken by it were Team 7's Genin. As Gaara fled, Naruto followed him. However, as Sasuke considered following Naruto, he saw a large puff of smoke come from the Hokage's box. Considering that everyone was asleep, Sasuke felt like he needed to help Hiruzen. So he rushed after to help. As Naruto followed Gaara, he demanded that he stop and explain what's happening. Temari and Kankuro would attempt to stop Naruto, but they couldn't shake him for long. He was stronger than them, and due to his ability to sense where everyone was going through Sage Mode, Naruto could easily catch back up again. Gaara, in anger and hatred, would take the form of Shukaku, but even with this power, Naruto still had the edge. He would free Gaara from Shukaku's grip. Coming to the ground where Gaara sat in terror, Naruto knelt down and looked him over. Connecting with the chakra inside of Gaara, Naruto knew.
You're not a bad kid. You've just had bad breaks, he said. Gaara, you don't have to be the monster your people have made you. You have the capacity to change. I hope you use it.
Naruto backed away. Gaara was in shock, but despite this, he turned and fled. A large barrier was keeping Sasuke away from the battle between Hiruzen and Orochimaru. However, that wouldn't stop him. The moment he saw the old snake pull the sword of Kusanagi out to use against Hiruzen, Sasuke's Rinnegan would activate, and he'd use Amenotejikara to switch places with it, getting a surprise strike in on Orochimaru, kicking him in the face. Orochimaru went skidding back, surprise on his face. Hiruzen spoke.
Sasuke, what are you doing in here? You're going to get yourself killed.
Sasuke looked back at Hiruzen with a smile. With all due respect, I'd say the same to you, Lord Third. Monkey King Enma spoke.
If Sasuke truly possesses the Rinnegan, then he might be able to fend for himself. Besides, I think we could use the help. We need to take Orochimaru down here and now. He can't escape again.
Hiruzen nodded his head. He knew that Enma was correct. We end this now. Together, Hiruzen, Sasuke, and Enma would face Orochimaru, and although the battle was tough, the three of them came out on top, finally putting an end to Orochimaru and his machinations. From here, peace was restored to the village, and because of how well Naruto and Sasuke had done, Hiruzen would give Team 7 the rank of Chunin. A few years pass. Team 7 continues their shinobi work, but as they are Chunin now, they have the ability to take on far greater missions, which does put them at risk of combat. To that end, Naruto and Sasuke's affinity for their powers seems to grow on a greater scale. Naruto seems to grow more and more used to his six-path sage mode, and Sasuke grows more and more used to his Rinnegan, to the point Sakura is starting to feel a little shafted. I wouldn't blame her. Since Hiruzen never died, Tsunade never shows up on the scene, and without her, Sakura can't learn many of the skills she used to cross the distance between herself and Naruto and Sasuke. But it can't really be helped unless she decides to go on some training arc with Jiraiya, and I do not see her going along with a pervert to his secluded home in the mountains. So for now, Sakura is just going to fulfill the fan bias that she's useless. Sorry, Sakura. At some point after the Chunin exams, it was decided by the Wind Daimyo that Gaara would become the next Kazekage. Why they would give the job of basically commander-in-chief to a 13-year-old boy with severe mental issues and an inability to sleep, I'll never know, but somehow, Gaara doesn't botch it up. The best that can be said is that when Naruto stopped him during the Chunin exams and healed him, maybe it made him think of things differently. Since then, Suna and Konoha have been on good terms, despite the fact that they tried to kill the Hokage. And so, when Gaara goes missing, you can imagine that they're going to be calling up Konoha for help, and that's exactly what they do. Team 7 decides to head out towards Suna. With Sasuke's Rinnegan and Naruto's ability to pinpoint chakra signatures from a distance, they believe that they have it in the bag. It'll be an easy mission. The issue, though, is that due to shifting sands, there are no tracks for Sasuke to use, and somehow, Naruto can't sense Gaara. Going off of information given to them by Tsunagakure's intelligence community, they get a general heading and points of interest to check out. During their investigations, they're stopped by Itachi, or at least a clone of him, which tells them that they're on the right track. Sasuke is surprised to find that with his Rinnegan, he's now strong enough to face Itachi. This also surprises Itachi, who had as of yet been unaware that Sasuke had awakened it. This completely changes everything for Itachi, as his brother having awakened something so powerful tells him that he's destined for more than just being the avenger of the Uchiha. They eventually find Gaara with Deidara and Sasori, but sadly, he's dead. Sasuke and Sakura stay behind with Chiyo to fight Sasori while Naruto and Kakashi chase down Deidara. With their combined power, they're able to kill both Deidara and Sasori, and in using a forbidden technique, Chiyo manages to revive Gaara. With this mission completed, they decide to head back to the village, but are surprised when they're called to Hiruzen's office. Entering in, they're faced with the terror of seeing Itachi. Sasuke steps forward. "What have you done with the Hokage?" he demands. "Be calm, Sasuke," Hiruzen said as he comes into the room. Hiruzen sits behind his desk. "Please, sit." Sasuke is obviously frazzled. What kind of game is this, is all Sasuke can think. He refuses to sit, and so does Naruto. Hiruzen decides to continue. "It might startle you to know this, but everything we know about the Akatsuki comes straight to me through Itachi. He's a mole within their organization." Sasuke is speechless. His mind is in a tailspin. It's then that Hiruzen reveals the truth. Itachi never stopped working for Konoha. So what about the Uchiha clan massacre? Are we just forgetting about that? Sasuke says, his face growing redder. "There's a lot you don't know, Sasuke. Things nobody told you," Itachi said. "It's a lie. You're casting some genjutsu over the Hokage," he says as he pulls his sword. "I'm through talking with you. I'm killing you here and now." Hiruzen looks at Sasuke. "Sasuke, use your Rinnegan. Look at my chakra pathway system. I'm not under genjutsu." Sasuke can hardly understand this. "Someone better explain what the hell is going on here," he demands, rightfully getting upset. Hiruzen begins to speak. "The fall of the Uchiha was an unfortunate circumstance. Something that your brother was forced to do against his will." "I don't believe you," Sasuke said. Hiruzen continued. "It was not sanctioned by the state, if that's what you are wondering. At least not by me. Not legally." Sasuke is just listening. As Hiruzen speaks, Itachi summons a crow to his side. Within its socket is a Mangekyo Sharingan, though Sasuke has not noticed this yet. Hiruzen continues. "Your clan was planning a coup against Konoha. I have proof of it. We were hoping to solve it peacefully, and Itachi was our man in the field solving the issue. But due to things we had not expected, the plan fell through.
The man in charge of this was very corrupt. He's long since been removed from office, but for a time I trusted his judgment. He threatened Itachi, saying that if he did not kill the Uchiha personally, he would come through with the Anbu and eradicate everyone, including you. But through his actions, he managed to save your life.
Sasuke shook his head.
I don't know if I can ever believe this, he said. How can you expect me to believe this? It's crazy. Like, if Itachi was in trouble, why didn't he come to you and report this? And if he did, why didn't you do anything about it? At best, something like this is gross negligence. At worst, it's straight treason. There's no reason why Itachi should be accepted here.
It was at this time that Itachi knew that there was no way to explain it to Sasuke and Naruto in a way they would truly understand. In a way, Sasuke was right. Hiruzen, Itachi, and Danzo, all three were at fault for what happened. It was a war crime that didn't have to happen. Itachi was just a kid then, scared, unsure of what to do. Despite his great intelligence, he had no wisdom. The massacre happened because the Uchiha clan was all in on a coup. If they had attempted to overthrow Konoha, there were only two outcomes. Either they failed, or they succeeded. Either way would have weakened Konoha in a time of hardship. A new world war would have risen and everyone would have died. All because our kin were too stubborn to see the truth. But what about the women? The children? There's no justification for that, no matter how much you speak on it. Itachi spoke. Perhaps not. The Uchiha clan is a clan of hatred and grudges. The ones spared would have risen up in hatred against Konoha. For reference, I did sign off on a surgical strike, but never a genocide, Hiruzen said. The plan was to take down only the conspirators with quarter offered to any who surrendered. That was the plan anyway. I didn't even know about the massacre until it was too late. So if you admit Itachi's a murderer, why do you allow him to sit here, Sasuke asked. I'm a murderer with a purpose, he said. I avoid justice in Konoha because I offer up on a silver platter those as bad or worse than I am. That's the only reason why I'm allowed to be here right now. A secret pact made with Hiruzen that should I bring up those worse than I won't be hanged. Sasuke was shaking at this moment. Naruto was also growing furious. How dare you, Naruto said. Throw in with someone like this. We should tell the world what you've done. Itachi spoke. If you can never forgive me, I will offer myself up for trial. And if you cannot understand what I did, I will resign from office, Hiruzen said. Itachi continued. But something bigger is at stake, boiling below the surface. It is for this reason, and this reason alone, that I tolerate Itachi being here, Hiruzen said. The Akatsuki are a group of dangerous terrorists, set on destabilizing the world, and Itachi has been sending information about them in exchange for us turning a blind eye to his existence. Justice is imperfect, but this is the best we can do. It's either kill one man and bring back nobody, or let a guilty man live and save the lives of millions. Neither Naruto nor Sasuke had known that Koro Amatsukami had been cast on them, but due to its presence, they were far more receptive to this idea than they otherwise would have been. I'm not asking you to forgive me, Sasuke, Itachi said. I'm simply saying, let me help you take down the Akatsuki. Whatever you choose for me next, I will subject myself to. Sasuke felt uncomfortable to say the least, but he had convinced himself, or thought he had, to allow Itachi to help him finish the Akatsuki off. Then they could decide what to do next. Fine then, Sasuke said. What comes next? Itachi had given them the information about the Akatsuki's hideout, and had given them specs on all the people there. Due to Sasuke having a Rinnegan, he believed that he might be able to stand against Pain, who also possessed one. And so, Itachi took into his coat a tag, a seal that contained the formula of the Flying Raijin Jutsu. He would bring it with him into the building where the Akatsuki were based. He would then place the tag and send the signal, which would be a crow. The team would teleport in. From there, they would begin Operation Nichibotsu. Kakashi would seek out Madara, or who Itachi assumed was Madara, telling Kakashi that his usage of Kamui was very similar to Madara's use of his own teleportation jutsu that he used for intangibility. He told Kakashi that he was the only one who could take Madara down, and that he needed to use Kamui on all of his attacks. Itachi would further utilize his powers in conjunction with the other Konoha forces to bring down the other members of the Akatsuki. All the while, Naruto and Sasuke would face off against Pain together. If the mission went well, they would crush the Akatsuki right then and there, ending the threat forever. And so, when they got to the Hidden Rain village and had brought himself to Pain's headquarters, he placed the tag in a room that was large enough to hold everyone who would be coming through. He then went to the window and sent his crow. Once the crow reached Hiruzen and the others, he looked to Naruto. Now's the time. Utilizing the flying Raijin Jutsu fueled by Naruto's chakra, they managed to teleport everyone into the Akatsuki's base. As soon as they got there, Itachi began giving orders, telling everyone where to go. Kakashi took a squad with him, as did Hiruzen and Itachi. Sasuke and Naruto took their squad with them and headed to Pain's office. Upon entering the room, they saw a large spider-like machine carrying a very frail-looking man with Rinnegan to another room. He and his attendant Conan seemed surprised to see them. "Wow, I would have thought they'd be more threatening," Naruto said. It was then that 6 more people, each bearing a Rinnegan, appeared before them. Sasuke looked to Naruto and elbowed him. "You just had to say something, didn't you?" Naruto smiled awkwardly. "Sorry." He then looked to his Truth-Seeker orb. "Jeff, become a bow staff again!" Suddenly, the black orb transformed into a large staff as Naruto's 6-path Sage Mode flared to life. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan, and the two rushed into battle with their squad. The 6 paths of pain ran at them. The Diva Path, seeing Naruto and Sasuke's display of 6 paths chakra, chose them as its targets. The other paths of pain would focus on the soldiers behind them. As pain would come in at Sasuke with a chakra rod, Sasuke would pull his sword to parry the rod, and Naruto smashed him with his bow staff. Pain would be thrown into a wall. He stands up again as the human path shows up behind Naruto, attempting to pull his soul from his body. Sasuke sees it and throws a kunai. Due to having a Rinnegan, Sasuke knows what these things are. "Naruto, don't let that one touch you. If it does, it'll pull your soul from your body." Naruto would engage with the human path as Sasuke turned back to the Diva Path. Activating his Curse Mark of Heaven, Sasuke proceeds to attack the Diva Path again. Naruto strikes out at the human path with his bow staff, keeping it beyond arm's reach. Smacking it in the face with his bow staff, he forms a tailed beast ball in his hands and smashes the human path with it in the face. If he can kill the main Rinnegan user, all of the other paths will lose their strength. And so, with the opening he created, he raced for the door. Busting it down, he steps in to see Conan there, ready to guard Nagato. "I will not let you touch Lord Pain." "Give up now, and you'll be spared," Naruto says, trying to reason with them, but they seem content to fight it out to the death, and so Naruto goes in for the attack. Conan attempts to turn to paper in an attempt to dodge his attacks. Nagato uses Almighty Push to knock Naruto away. With sufficient distance created between Nagato and Naruto, Conan attempts to utilize paper bombs to blow Naruto away, but Naruto dodges. When Conan comes back together, Naruto knows that his only chance is to shred her and all of her paper all at once. So, as she attempts to reform, Naruto begins forming a Rasen Shuriken. Lining it up, he throws it. Conan sees it coming and can't get out of the way quickly enough. Turning to paper, the mere proximity of her to the Rasen Shuriken is enough to cause the wind release to shred her to confetti. Nagato can't get out of the way quickly enough, so he intends to absorb the Rasen Shuriken with his Predapath abilities. However, upon doing so, he finds his body slowly turning to stone, as the technique Naruto utilized was packed to the brim with Sage Chakra. Nagato, unsure how to deal with this, accepts his fate. "You too have the power of the Sage of 6 Paths," he said. "Use it well. Bring peace to this world of hatred and darkness." And with that, Nagato turns to stone. All of the 6 paths he faced would fall like masterless puppets. Elsewhere, Kakashi and Itachi had fulfilled their missions. The Akatsuki were eliminated, and as the sun began to shine once again over Amagakure, Itachi stood there on the balcony. It was then that Sasuke walked out towards him. Itachi spoke. "You know, I always used to love watching the sun shine through the rain. They call it a kitsune's wedding. It's supposed to bring..." A cool steel blade touched Itachi's neck. "I guess you really have changed since that time, haven't you?" Itachi took a deep breath and spoke. "I won't ask you to forgive me. If you feel that you need to kill me to bring justice to our clan, I surrender myself to your judgment." Sasuke spoke. "Leave the village. Never return. Let me not see your face ever again." Sasuke put his blade back into its sheath. Itachi turned around and looked at Sasuke. He offered a solemn smile. He then turned to crows and disappeared. Sasuke turned around to see Naruto standing there and smiling. Sasuke began to smile himself. "What?" Naruto said. "Nothing. Why don't we go home?" The two began to walk away. As they did, though, they were unaware that on a building not far from them, a figure was watching. A strange being from behind him appeared. It looked like Minato Namikaze, but different. He seemed completely devoid of color, as if awash in a black and white filter. He spoke. "The experiment is over, is it not?" The shrouded figure nodded. The outcome was about what I expected. The grayscale Minato spoke. Your intelligence knows no bounds, Dr. Gaster. The figure, ditching its cloak as the rain had stopped, turned to face him, a skeletal face with a large gash running from one eye like a tear. He spoke. End the experiment.